What's up? It's b0des vlog episode 5. I hope y'all are ready for some red pills, because I ain't got no topic in general today. I'm just going off the cuff. I'm fired up. I'm feeling good. I'm here to just say some shit that it's time to say. It's time to say. It's time to talk, people. It's time to say those things that we've been bottling up, you know? It's a beautiful time right now. I know it's ugly in a lot of ways, but out of that ugliness, beauty will rise again. And what's more beautiful than that? Beauty out of ugliness, you know? If you got that blunt, it's that time to blaze it. It's time for the lateral leaf. You blaze your leaf, I blaze mine. Shout out King Palm. Change the game with this shit. Sponsor b0des. Sponsor me. Yeah, get that leaf, that lateral leaf, that coordinated chronic. It's time to blaze your blunt. Here we go. I still ain't done a single edit on this show. This shit is all raw. Off the top, no edits. But I feel like this one might be the first one I'm going to have to edit. Let's find out. If you see me chop, all of a sudden, either I got interrupted or I said some shit that I realized maybe not time for that one yet. So, no real topic today because I got so much going on. I feel like I could just riff and it's going to be mildly interesting. So, I was in a pattern of doing the show every day. And then a couple days ago, I got interrupted and couldn't get an episode done. And then I think I missed 2 days in a row. Because the interruption was so depressing that the next day, I just felt like doing some self-care. If you are in a situation where you can do self-care, where you can nurture yourself and light your own candle, please do it. Please take care of yourself if you can. I know some of us are not as fortunate and we're in situations where the world's just grinding us into dust and we can't even get that chance for the right type of self-care. I mean, if that's the case, maybe just meditate in like a chair, you know, if that's all you got. Learn to meditate, you know. I got my crutches. I got my CBD. I got, you know, the steam room. I got the gym. I'm very blessed. So it's easy for me to stay in a positive state of mind because I have so many beautiful environments open to me. But I know that for a lot of people, that's not true. That a lot of people are in a world of shit. And if that's the case, you got to figure out how to light your own candle while being surrounded by that chaos. If all you have is a nice little flat chair, learn how to sit in that thing properly. Learn how to follow your breath with a meditation. Learn how to relax, and most importantly, learn how to let go. Let go and just observe. Don't judge your thoughts, you know, but don't run away with them either. Just observe them. If you can get into that neutral mental position, that's where all the doors start to open up. I promise you that is true. Let me tell you, I've been hospitalized 15 times, almost all 15 against my will. Even when I went involuntary deep down, I wasn't volunteering. You know, I never wanted to go there. But you know, at a certain point, you recognize the patterns and you recognize when it's bigger than what you can control. And you surrender and you let go. And you surrender to your tribe, you know. And in America, if you have mental health issues, your tribe is basically the psychiatric center. That's what we have for you. It's the best we got. I don't ever mean to disrespect it. I do think there's room for improvement, but it's the best we got right now. I do think there's been a couple things where I felt slightly mishandled, but that's okay. We don't need to be perfect. Mistakes can be made by me. They can be made from below. They can be made from on high. Mistakes are universal. Authority makes mistakes sometimes. Shit, authority makes mistakes a lot of the time. But bitterness and vengeance will not get you anything. It won't. It's okay to have self-defense. It's okay to address a situation with force if force is being used on you. That's okay. But you got to sense when you're crossing the line into vengeance, and then you got to stop that wheel of karma from spinning. You got to slow this thing down at least. So, what have I been through this last couple of days? Well, some good shit, you know. I'm a married man. Thank God for that, you know. It's been a beautiful blessing on my life. It's something where I didn't really see it coming, to be honest with you, you know, especially not when it did. But it lined up perfectly. And, you know, if the universe gives you something like that, you better be ready for that gift, you know? And I'm very happy that I met a partner. But, you know, in any marriage, you have disagreements. And I'm kind of a hard person to understand sometimes. I know that. And, you know, on a personal level, I've been trying to find work. I've been trying to find jobs, you know, applying in a lot of places, starting my own business. My business has two aspects to it. There's a music side and there's a technology side. And ultimately, there's actually a unified vision where I can bring the two things together. But, you know, it's also early on and the team is so small. It's not just me, but I am obviously the main impetus. It's so early on that it's not like I can really convince any VC investors or angel investors at this point. I mean, maybe I could. You know, that's part of what I'm hoping by just putting video series out like this, that maybe someone can get enough of a sense to realize I'm worth investing in, you know? But whatever. I can't count on that. I can't wait around for that to happen, right? So I'm working multiple angles, you know? At the same time, maybe I have to go back to normal employment for a while. Maybe forever. I'm open to all options. I ain't trying to force my grid of reality on the world no more. I did that for a long time. It was good. I had a good trip. But I'm 37 and I'm ready to just take the easy path, you know? Take that low entropy path. I don't need to force any of my volatility on this world anymore. But I am more than happy to commentate on the volatility that I see. I'm more than happy to do that. But I'm not trying to create the volatility anymore. Because at one point I was obsessed when I was working on my album, you know? And I made that album against all odds. You know, my little fucking milquetoast Midwest white man existence, corporate man, IT job man existence, honestly, I pulled off something that is very hard to pull off. Within the spectrum of my life, you know what I mean? I'm not some gangster dude, you know, I don't have the traditional street cred or whatever of your idealized version of a rapper. I don't have any of that. So I have a more traditional problem. I feel like facing the 80% of the population right now, which is my life was bland. My life was boring. My life did not have meaning. And I wasn't fucking happy with that. You know, I know that like mafia movies are cool. I know that gangster rap is dope. It is dope, straight up. Shout out to the gangs. I'm actually about that life, believe it or not. But what I'm trying to tell you is like that door wasn't open to me. I was no fucking tough guy. And so what I had open to me was the simple life. You go to school, you get your degree, you go to get your job, you get your fat wife and your 2.5 kids with the fucking picket fence, and you enjoy your little cubicle, right? No offense to fat wives, straight up. But I gotta speak a little bit blunt for a minute. What I'm trying to say is like, I wanted more than that bland ass shit. I wanted more. I was greedy. And so I went on the reality trip, on the fighter trip. You know, I pushed against it. I pushed against it. I found the limits of this shit and I pushed past them. But never too far. Never too far. And eventually, I pulled off some of the shit, pretty much all the shit I wanted to pull off. I mean, I still have some dream goals I ain't quite hit yet. Some kind of ridiculous fantasy level type shit. But as far as what my ego needed, my cup is full. My cup is full. I don't need to prove nothing to myself anymore to feel like I'm a man or feel like I had a meaningful life as a human even. I don't need it. So in some sense, aging is real. It's a real phenomenon because the feeling is distinctly different from when I was a newborn baby and a toddler and a kid in high school. The feeling, it do hit different. There is this idea of manhood. Dare I fucking say it. And you know, it's like, that's what I wanted. In my own little bitch ass nerdy way, I wanted something more. I guess I say all that to say, you know, maybe you're just like me right now. You know, maybe you're kind of a geeky dude, kind of more introverted. You know, you're not a jock. Maybe you're a gamer. You know, maybe gaming inspires you and you see the art and beauty in that. You know, someday I might even get into my professional video game background, something I don't talk about a whole lot. I just want to tell you, like, that if that's you, don't worry, because that's most of us right now. We live in a time of abundance. We live in a time of success to a fault, because now we have a crisis of meaning. See, what's life mean if you're just endlessly coddled and handed everything? Well, what it means is you can create your own little virtual realities and just go live in them and have the fancy or whatever the fuck you want. And if that's gaming, that trip is wide open for you. And no judgment if that's truly what you want. No judgment. I went down that trip a long time. However, I freaked out. I had what's known as a mystical experience or an epiphany. It was both. And I realized all that time I was putting into trying to be a gamer and be the best for me. It was Quake, it was Doom, it was StarCraft. Trying to be the best at that. I could just be the best at something that have more rewards in the real reality. I mean, I hope you can always tell the difference between the real reality, physical reality that we all live in, and virtual realities that are on TV and video games. If you lose that line, you're done. You're done, and I'll be honest, I won't feel bad when this universe cleanses you away. Because you got to know when you're crossing that line into total fantasy. There must be a real shared physical reality that we must coexist in. This is a bare minimum requirement for reality and for life. Do not become some fucking head in a vat just like floating around. Disattached intelligence, disembodied. Do not do that. That's my opinion. I know that there's a minority of people who truly struggle with identity. You know, I would maybe have a more specific and hopefully sophisticated thing to say to them. But let me just speak to the majority right now. And to the majority, I would say, do not become no head in a vat. You know, if you're Stephen Hawkins, obviously ignore my ass. You're doing something way bigger and more important. We're all different. But speaking to the majority, do not become this disembodied intellect. Stay in tune with your body. Stay in tune with your spirit. Mind, body, spirit. And you don't even need to believe in spirit. Just believe in mind and body. That's good enough. You don't even need the third layer of abstraction. Mind and body, total fucking atheism is good enough to get you started. Maybe it's superior entirely, you know? So, that's a hell of a rant. But why'd I say it? Because I wanted to talk about my day and how I got interrupted. You see, my wife, I'm not going to front. She don't have so much faith in me to where she's willing to become irrational with it. But I am. I am irrational. As I've said before, I don't think logic has the final say on the universe. I don't. This is why I'm open to the idea of the divine feminine. What if that was the ultimate irony, right? What if there was a patriarchy, but it was just in turn giving it up to the divine feminine? Just passing the ball right back up. Then would it matter a shit? You know what I'm saying? There's always an ordering of power. There's always someone or something you report to. There's always something outside of yourself, which necessarily means there's always something you can't control. For there to be an external world that you exist in at all, then you're going to have to let go of some amount of control. So whatever bitterness you have towards authority, just know that it ain't going to make authority go away. And then you're just splitting hairs over who that authority is. What type of image do you want in your mind? How do you want to paint it? Is it the evil patriarchy? Is it a matriarchal goddess? Is it God the creator? Is it, Christ on a cross? Is it Satan running the world and all its earthly things? A grand liberator freeing people's minds? Prometheus? Is it, a bearded man touching Adam, giving him consciousness? Is it trying to think of other gods that I'm not as familiar with? I could almost rank and file my studies. I still would claim Zen Buddhism is my primary, if I had to claim one religion. See, the cool thing about doing an off the cuff, off the Dome episode like this is I could feel my thoughts wandering in real time. And then I could feel the decision between trying to seek that thought or letting it be pulled away. And that gets back into that meditation thing. Watch your thoughts and watch your words and realize when the concept slips away from you, and then decide, do I need to force this thought out right now? Maybe you do. You have the option. So, where was I going with this? I missed an episode or two because I had a little bit of a debate with my wife. And the short version is she ain't willing to go irrational like I am. See, the way I see it, we are not forced to have an economic arrangement or an employment arrangement or even a life arrangement that goes against what is right. We are not forced to lie. And if you're not happy with your work and you let that go for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you are living a lie. That's worse than telling a lie. That's living a lie. And the lie is, that's not the real you. This is a tap dance you've learned to put on because you let authority beat you down. You let your fear win. And I really feel like where the misconception is, 100%, and I'm going to sound like I'm defending the bullies and the tyrants right now. I'm not. I'm actually trying to lift up motherfuckers. Where I think the misconception is people think, y'all think that they want to hold us down, that they want to oppress us, that they are insecure slave masters and they need to keep their slaves at any cost. Let me tell you, whoever the fuck they are, they do not need to do that. They have way more power than you can imagine. They're going to be good either way. My best guess or best theory is humanity's kind of part of this collective science project. And it's a science project where we have a crucial role to play. In other words, we all need each other. We all depend on each other. And so whatever bulliedness you feel from authority, however you feel you've been shit on by your job or by the corporate world or any of these other authority structures that I don't really care to speak on right now because now's not a good time. But whoever you feel like is shitting on you and holding you back and oppressing you, it's not happening because that authority needs to do that to you. It does not need to oppress you. What I'm starting to see is there's an actual mission, a higher level mission, a shared mission of all of humanity and whatever other life is in the cosmos. It turns out we're all on the same team. And you got to get in alignment with that. And if you are in alignment with the mission, the life-affirming mission, the infinite game, if you can continue the infinite game and keep it going, and at the same time slow down the wheel of karma, aka help the world exist in a low entropy state, if you can do that, then authority pays you no mind. Matter of fact, authority may lend a little bit of its blessing to you as opposed to oppressing you. Because it's a universal law. It's a universal law. I fully believe that. And ultimately, universal law always overrides man's law. Always. It's like watching a dog or something try to rebel. You know what I mean? Eventually, the owner just comes along and lifts that dog up and places him in a new spot. Either gives him a nice little treat or a spanking. So anyways, on the job side of things, I've been struggling because, the opportunities I was looking at were not the right fit for me, apparently. And I was getting frustrated because some of these opportunities are unclear or even outright lying about why it's not working. And that's okay. That's okay. I believe it could be possible to have a necessary lie. I'm not trying to judge. But whatever I'm going through, I keep getting put through the ringer with these job interviews, right? And by the ringer, I mean I seem to do great first interview, kill the second interview, everything's feeling good. But then the offer doesn't come. And then sometimes you get a reason, sometimes you don't. Sometimes that reason is total bullshit, and sometimes it's a lie. And you wonder, why would you even lie? Did you mix up my application with someone else? It's a weird time. It's a confusing time, I try not to worry about it too much, but my wife does. She worries. She worries. Maybe that's her job to play here. Maybe that's the role she needs to play. So yeah. I went to the gym. I worked out for like 6 hours. I feel so much better. And, ultimately, I might have to go work for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, Fang. I might have to. Because I'll be honest, they have checkmated the marketplace. And the way I feel about it right now, humanity, we don't deserve nothing better other than a centralized monopoly. Because I'm not seeing no spirit, no warrior spirit, no fight in us. And the fight I am seeing, I'm concerned that people are a little bit too emotional about it and thus prone to being manipulated. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fight, a lot of spirit right now. But the problem is there's people with no emotion who can easily misdirect and funnel the thing whatever direction they want. And until the people with the fighting spirit also understand reason a little bit better and emotional regulation, then there's no way to win that fight. The universal law has to decide how a fight is won. And in my entire life, I've never seen a fight won off of pure emotion with no plan or vision for where the thing is going. Every fight you win, you had better have a plan for where you go if you get what you want. Be careful what you wish for type thing. Because if you do not have that plan, you will quickly find out why all those oppressive forces existed. And like I said, I found this out firsthand because I fought my own fights. And then I won my fucking prize. And that saying, you know, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. In a certain sense, every game is stupid. And every prize is stupid. You just have to meditate and keep chasing that fake gold. Keep chasing that fool's gold. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Another ice cream cone. Isn't this fun? Oh, great. You know, I got laid again. Oh, this is fun. I'm getting drunk again. Let's have another ice cream cone. See, it never stops. It never stops, the hedonistic hamster wheel. And then poor little me, life hasn't given me enough ice cream cones. Well, then one day God will give you infinite ice cream cones. And you'll get to see what the other side is. It will come. That will come. Maybe not this life, but the next, it will come. So have a plan for what happens when you win. So God can give you those infinite ice cream cones faster. It's entirely possible God is ready to give you infinity right now. You just ain't got the plan for what to do with it yet. And I'm talking to myself just as much as you right now. Matter of fact, I might only be talking to myself and turning it into video content for y'all. The ramblings of a madman inside the head of b0des. I feel like it has value. You tell me. We're at minute 30. I could keep going. This worked out well. But I might pause it here, you know. And I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got better opportunities coming. I'm going to be okay. Don't you worry about me. If I can help you, send me a DM. Seriously. I'm a man of many talents. If I can help you, just reach out. And, you know, like and subscribe. Smash that alarm bell. What else do people say, you know? Follow me on all those platforms. b0des. It's always b0des with the 0. Nowadays, trying to be a hero? Shit, no. I'd rather not. But the older I get, it's the only path I got. Freestyle on the spot. Nowadays, need a Glock. Because that clock is going to stop its talk. You know, in this theory of relativity, there's this notion that like somehow everything has its own clock. That's my interpretation of it. See, let me show y'all what I've been reading before I go. Shout out Roger Penrose, The Road to Reality. This book is blowing my mind already. It's essentially math, physics. I feel like math and physics is very closely related. I don't know that shit too well, but I'm trying. And one of the things that I believe I'm reading, if I'm reading it correctly, is this notion of somehow time itself is relative. We could all have our own clock. Let me tell you, you get your mind right and you get in the right wavelength, you get in that right frequency, you will get yourself a new clock. The environment that controls your rhythm can put you in a better rhythm. It can give you a better clock. You aren't in control of your own clock. There is an OS managing your processes, and it can elevate you to a different status. Get your mind right and get yourself a new clock. It'll be one that ticks just right. And when it talks, you'll be able to debug that and fix that. And all you got to do is just let go, just surrender. And the universe will make room for you to have your own clock. I know that's vague. I know that's abstract, but just chew on it because it does mean something to me. I promise you that. It does mean something to me. And so at the least, take the emotional content of what I'm saying, and trust me that it does mean something. What does it mean? You tell me, leave a comment. What would it mean to have your own clock? Theory of relativity. What the hell does that mean? In just plain English, plain language, get philosophical with it. You don't got to get so mathematical and literal. It don't got to be some equation a computer solves. English language is actually more complex than the most far out math you've ever seen. We just take it for granted because we elevate that complexity just because it's hard for us to see it. But in fact, just plain English language, especially philosophy, is more complex than any of that math. A computer can't do the philosophy yet, but it can crunch all that math no problem. Go put your Oculus Rift on if you don't believe me. So meditate on it. What would it mean to have your own clock? And then what would it mean if something could get you in a different frequency, a different tick? They could reassign how your clock ticks. Just like your heart beats, you're not in control of that. You're somewhat in control of it, but it's a shared process. So do your side of the thing and let the universe do its side. I'm b0des. Thank you for listening. Peace out.